and welcome back. This is the Gen Z Manifesto. Hapa tunasemanga tunaongea itutoke. Before we went on a break, tulikuwa pale kwa ground na majibu. And the question that we are asking people today ni, are we open for dialogue? Mko open for dialogue? Watu wa majibu pale kwa ground wamesema wote, in fact wote wamesema they are not open for this dialogue. Wamesema Rao kidogo, it's a bit selfish for him to call for this dialogue. Now let's hear from you guys at home. Mko open for dialogue kweli? One of you says no, it's a waste of time and money. Okay, another person says we don't need a dialogue. This regime just needs to stop killing us. Police brutality doesn't need a dialogue. Politicians wameamua kufanya vile akili zao zinawaambia. Okay, let's hear from another person. The person says, hello, dialogue for what? What is needed are ways of eradicating vices affecting our nation. Dialogue for what? Okay, let's hear from another person. Martin here says, hi, I'm from Nairobi. Baba aache kutupima bangi. Akule pesa ya gava pole pole aende home. Okay, Martin coming in strong with the bangi situation over there. I see you. Another person says, we are ready for the dialogue. Our representatives will be Albert Ojwang, Boniface Karaoke, and other dead comrades. Hao ndio wanajua kujieleza poa on our behalf. That's deep. That's deep right there. Another person called Code 14 anasema, I personally don't think I know that what it means. That dialogue seems will be a good after the, okay. Yeah, only why we should have a dialogue, it seems. All right. Thank you, Code 14. Another person, anauliza dialogue for what? This is useless. All right. I wonder what Linda's side watasema leo. Paul says, and I'm watching from Meru, thank you so much for tuning in, about dialogue. It will always be to the advantage of Raila and his cronies. The message is out there from Gen Z. Let's seal the deal in August 2027. Now remember, IBC hata imesema hata tuja announce kama kutakuwa na elections in the first place, so mchill. So I don't know about 2027, guys. Now another person says, we are not ready for any form of dialogue. The so-called broad-based government is fooling Kenyans. Wanatuona, hey. Now how many tribes will be sitting down for a talk? They already know what we want. All right. Thank you so much. Steve Stars says, dialogue is necessary, but what we are worried about is that we take a dialogue, but nothing is implemented. They should involve the comrades and those in government. Action must be there after dialogue. All right, Steve, thank you so much. Now, Linda.
Yep.
Uko na mbogi yako hapo iko tayari.
Unajua, if Kagina, our stats guy, was here today, I'm sure angesema 90% or 95 thereabouts have said that they are not open for dialogue.
Right.
But now, we're hoping perhaps we'll get varied reactions from my end. Let me begin from the farthest right, if this is my right. From the farthest right, Sophie J here, do you think Gen Zs are open for a dialogue? And what would a meaningful dialogue look like? What would make Gen Zs feel represented?
Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Sophie. I am an aspirant for Thika Township Ward, MCA. I will only answer the first part of your question because the rest at this point ni kind of irrelevant. Jumi staki dialogue. Staki dialogue. Because comrades, tuna dialogue aje na gavenye na sexualize women na inaua watoto. Tuna dialogue aje na gavenye imefungia watu kwa church before na ikawachomea huko ndani. Tuna dialogue aje na serial manipulators and killers. Kuna comrade ako hapo nje amesema kitu moja muhimu sana. Sisi kama wa Kenya tumenormalize kupatia mtu mmoja a lot of power, and they end up thinking that their opinions represent the opinions of the majority, and that is a lie. The so-called Baba has mastered the art of kuruka watu kipetero kiyesu. In 1997, The people had said no reforms, no elections. But he went ahead and struck a deal with Moi, minimal reforms, akauza NDP, ikaingia KANU, na hivyo ndio hiyo story ililand. In 2007, in fact, Raila Odinga is one who campaigned 41 tribes against one. I believe he and his camp contributed very highly to the post-election violence. He still negotiated, and he got a very big part of that government, nusu mkate. In 2022, he did the same. So kazi yake inakuanga tu kuruka watu. So he can't represent us. In short, what I'm asking myself is there political goodwill in what he's trying to initiate? Or is it just a plan to keep his stomach full, him and his family and his cohorts, in the name of wanting to join the Gen Zs and our troubles? They already know our troubles. Hatutaki hiyo dialogue yao wakae nayo.
Thank you. Sophie is so mad.
I'm
Let me come to you, Elijah. Is dialogue a viable option for this? What is happening in the recent past?
Thank you, Linda, and Ms. Kahiru. I think we are really simplifying this conversation too much, and how it appears to me is as if it's just the same way the Gen Z's protest out there look very unorganic. When you actually look at it keenly, looks like something that's being brewed somewhere, then it's just blown out. Because we cannot today come here to vilify Raila Odinga as Gen Z's. Raila is not our father. Raila has children. Raila is just one amongst 40 million Kenyans who, through his blood, sweat, and even some squeezing of his own balls, he went through a lot so that, one, we could get multi-party in 1982. Nobody would dare do that. In the year 2007, he started the journey of actually creating electoral reforms. That is the first time that we saw the need to have an independent IBC. He took a lot of part in making sure that we had the 2010 constitution. So as young people, I think we cannot all of a sudden become too clever than our parents. And you know, the thing of just saying, you know, our parents are all, they are expired and therefore we think we are more clever. No, this country has been built through a process and we can't simplify this conversation in such a manner. I've heard so much in the conversation and I realize the first thing that we need as Gen Zs is actually to get the truth, to understand what is happening.
From who now?
I can give you a very good example. There's someone who's mentioned that actually SHIF is, NHIF was 6% and now SHA is high. Let me give you a very good example. 24,000 shillings as a salary.
Though.
Yes, as a salary of someone earning. That is more or less at the bottom. At that time, someone was paying 825 for NHIF. Someone earning 1 million was paying 1,700 shillings. NHIF could barely do so many things that today SHA is doing. SHA today is doing as much as a private cover would do.
Elijah,
Now,
bottom line.
when we go back, so the bottom line is this, Linda. When you hear people mentioning numbers that actually they are not even accurate, you hear people saying we want to become contractors of affordable houses so that we stop fighting.
Elijah, open for dialogue or not open for dialogue?
I like the way you're not giving
Before
me time, yet we've had so many people are talking
We are
about
running out
negative
of time,
for
Elijah.
dialogue. But this is what I just wanted to say.
Yes.
We must have dialogue.
Okay.
And whether people want to have dialogue or not, somehow people must talk, because the moment we stop talking, we start fighting. So we have no option of trying to tell young people not to dialogue.
So
we don't have that option.
Thank you.
We have no option.
Thank you, Mulamba. Do you think dialogue is a viable option? Because I know from how you're smiling, you have been smiling when Elijah was giving it. Is dialogue a viable option?
I wish I knew Elijah personally. I would want to understand if he's a newbie in politics, because we understand the language of dialogue. This language has been there before, and it will be there even after 2027. It is a language of the political elite to try and hijack the mood of the country and to curate their own ambitions and their own end goals. That's exactly what it is. It has never been people-centered. It does not matter what we think, what we feel, and what we would want done. It is what the political elite want done. If you look at the BBI initiative, 70% of what was in the BBI, because that was a dialogue, was what the political elite wanted. 70 more constituencies. They wanted an office of the prime minister. They wanted an official office of the opposition leader. Look at the NADCO report. What did the political elite want?
So there are so many historical issues that will Gen Zs look at and say dialogue has failed before, and that's why we are opposing this dialogue.
A dialogue in Africa, a dialogue in Kenya is about the political elite. The NADCO report still gave priority to the audit of the election, gave priority to the reconstitution of the IBC, and still gave priority to the leader of the opposition.
Thank you.
That tells you that it was about them, not about us.
Okay.
And as I conclude, I would say it's infelicitous and ill-fated that we are seated here to discuss the whims of one Raila Odinga. After so many years in politics, by now we should have buried Raila Odinga. Politically, I mean.
Okay.
We should have gotten
Thanks
done
for
with
that
him.
correction.
We should have gotten done with him because he has outlived his purpose and his relevance. I agree he has a legacy. I agree he has contributed to making this country better and the constitution better. That we agree. But then when you decide to soil your own legacy, what then? What use do we have respecting that legacy? So I am saying that we need to get past these clowns. And we also need to get past Gachagua, by the way. Gachagua cannot tell us that he has talked with the Gen Zs and he has advised them and he's speaking on our behalf.
Has he talked to you?
Yes,
like
he
as
said
Gen Zs?
no, he's not talked to us as who? He's not our patron. Saying that he's advised the Gen Zs and he's speaking on their behalf that they should not protest anymore.
Thank
as
you,
who?
Mulamba.
He's not our patron. So as we call out Raila Odinga, we should also be willing to call out Kalonzo, call out Gachagua when they step out of line because they do not speak for us.
Thank you.
If we are going to have a dialogue, it will be initiated by us, for us.
Thank you, Mulamba. We have varied reactions right here. Ms. K, like you've had, we have a yes and we have no dialogue. So, well, let's hear what your panelists have to say about this conversation today.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Linda. Now, allow me to introduce my panelists tonight. I have Joshua Okayo, who is a lawyer and also an individual who has been very vocal about human rights and good governance. I also have Jared Oyer, who is a delegate of the ODM Youth League. Just for some balance, let me begin with you, Jared.
Thank you so much.
Your party, your party leader is the one who called for
the
conclave.
The
conclave.
It's conclave. So I'll start with the wise words from Dr. Kwame Nkrumah when he said East or West must move forward. As a country, as a nation, we must find a way of moving forward. After every war, after every struggle, people must sit on a table and reconcile and find a way forward. And historically, let me start by during the independence in 1960s, when Kenyatta had to be sent to London severally for us to gain the independence we are today. He had to go sit down with the Wazungu for us to gain our independence. Let me come to the second liberation of our country. We young people must agree that we can't wish those who fought for this country. We are just continuing with what they were doing then. There's nothing new under the sun. Whatever we're doing today, they did it. So we don't need to appear like we are more saint than the struggles that someone like Raila Odinga that we have been tainting his name here negatively and unnecessarily. The gains that we have today, the constitution, the rights that we are having in this panel today, if it were not for Raila Odinga and his comrades, hatungekuwa hapa leo kuzungumzia hizi kwa serikali. Ya pili, on the struggle and the dialogue, we must agree that we have a clear agenda as young people, as a generation, what need to be done and how. They'll not be implemented, they'll not be done on the street. We must sit on the table. Pale nje nimesikia wengine wakisema they are leaderless. But here I'm seeing RGM with the leader here, Okayo. If they're saying they are leaderless, who's leading this RGM here? We must speak truth to ourselves first as well. As much that we want to say that we are leaderless, but we have leaders here in within. They are leaders who have been moving out organically, and a number of them are in this room. So when outside there we want to pretend and cheat our fellows that we are leaderless, but yet we know here that we have leaders. Second.
Jared, just before you go to your second, kidogo tu, yes? So far, Okayo, do you agree with your fellow comrade? Is it necessary to have this dialogue to be on the table and not on the streets anymore?
Thank you, Ms. Kay, and good evening, Kenyans. Before I get there, I was seated there watching the news, and it's so painful, a country burying a 12-year-old,
Right.
Bridget, who was not even protesting. As we speak, we have young children at Kenyatta National Hospital who are not protesting.
Right.
They have gun wounds. It's really painful. So even as we speak, let us remember such. Now, coming to, I have heard my friend Oye passionately, supporting the strides that have been made by our fathers and forefathers, and the fact that we should not write that off. That is true. But it's also very appalling how most of the pro-regime young people think that we are from a war, and now the country must move on. The country is not from a war, the country is not in a war. It must be very clear that the country is not in a war, and we have not come from any war, that now we should move on. That's number one. Number two.
What would you call 2024 especially?
What I would call 2024 is a generation that found its voice and realized that then we can speak truth to power. And because we realized that we have tried quite a lot of things. We had tried some of these things you're calling dialogue. I have seen Mulamba and Sophie have mentioned the historical, dialogues we've had, the BBI, NADCO, and even the 1997,
Right.
2007, 2008. None of those things, none of the issues that were raised in those conversations have been implemented. If you look at what it was very proudly saying it's a conclave. The meaning of a conclave is a private meeting. A private meeting. If it is a national intergenerational conversation, why should it be a private meeting? Now you will find, and I'm very sure Raila Odinga was very intentional, calling it
a
conclave. It was very intentional to have it what? Private. So that they can have people like Oye in those meetings who are from their parties, and then they dish out positions, and then they come out and tell people on TV that the young people have agreed now we have to move on. We have co-opted them into the system, and now we will ensure moving forward the voices of the young people are heard. Now, that is the idea behind this conversation. I know you didn't know conclave means a private meeting.
I know.
I
know, man.
Anyway,
Now you know. Now, because
Okay.
we cannot have a national conversation being called a private we must, even if we were to have, which I don't think we should, even if we were to have a conversation, then it must not be private. It must be a public conversation.
Right.
Now,
And-
the thing is, Ms. Kahiro, just
Sawa.
before
Haya
you come in, here's the thing. I even wonder why we have made this so big of a conversation. It's Raila who said he wants a conversation. Who is Raila? He's an individual. I had someone mention he's one of the 45 million people in Kenya. Why should we make someone's opinion look like now it is the decision by the whole nation, and now that is the thing that we should be discussing? We should be discussing how we are moving on in terms of how we are strengthening our protests and how we are making them more effective, efficient, to ensure that we reduce deaths or we actually cancel deaths. That is what we should be talking about, not someone's ideas that he came up with the other day, because he has realized the positions that were dished the other time when the Gen Zs died are not enough. There are people in ODM and the other so-called opposition parties that now think they also want to be part of the system.
You will give us time.
They
you give us
also-
right
I
of
will.
reply, because you cut
I
me
will.
off.
I will.
Okay, is having, I think, 5 minutes. I only had 1 minute.
Brother,
So
it is my
be fair
time.
to
As you
us. eh?
conclude,
Be fair
Joshua,
to us.
it's
eh?
okay.
She's the moderator. You are not the moderator.
No, man.
Let
Be fair
us
to us.
cool down, brothers.
We-
Sinini, it is okay.
May I
As
proceed?
you
Give a lot of
conclude,
time.
just
May
conclude.
I conclude?
Yes, you may.
It's attacking too much. I'll have to defend.
Now,
I will give you time.
and you can hear the voice already is shaking. The people who came into the government through backdoor and riding on the blood of the young people that died last year have realized that there are other people on their backs who are saying, I also want a position, I also want a position. So what Raila is doing is he has said, by the way, last year we came to the table and said, let's have a conversation. And then they raised 10-point agenda and said we are forming a what? A broad-based government. Now they want to call it another name. Then they bring other people, they are loyalists, who are not going to help us into the system.
Okay.
They are only doing this for political expediency, nothing more, nothing
Thank you. You have
less.
made your
Yeah.
point. Thank you so much. Oh, yeah. you may go ahead.
Now, thank you, Ms. Cairo. My comrade here, Wakili Okayo, we must agree that we can't say and we can't wish away, I'm starting with that, we can't wish away dialogue for our country. As we put there, we are not from Mua, yes, but we have issues that we have been raising them. We can't raise these issues and implement them on the street. We must have an avenue where we are going to talk and have these things implemented. You have attacked the party leader and the party imminently. It's like ulijitayarisha kuja kuigonga. Kitu ya kwanza, we must agree, Wakili. ODM as a party, the 4 or the 6 that we donated to the government then, it was out of the NADCO that we had at Boomers, as one of the comrades mentioned outside there on the street interview. It was not from the Gen Z protest. Historically, you know. Number 2, Ms. Cairo and Wakili and other comrades sitting down there. The dialogue that Elam Odinga has called, we have generations. There's a gentleman who mentioned down there that you can't go home and chase your grandfather or father that now I'm a full grown up. We can't move forward as a country that we now fence off these other generations of Kayo and other comrades here. We must move forward as a single entity, as a country, as a nation. One thing that we must agree as well as a country, our stable in Kenya stabilizes not only East Africa, but Africa at large. This is the doorway to this region. So our stability, Raila is, let me put it this way, Raila is a patriot. He stood out when it was not fashionable to do so for our country. He came out from where he was, because I think then he was running for the AUC. When he came back, things were not okay in the country. This country had to be salvaged where it was going deep to the abyss. Another thing must agree, Okayo, that as someone committee was putting down there, that Ruto may resign. Then hand of power to who? Today, Gachagua, Martha Karua are working together hand to hand. When Raila Ruto meets a problem, what's the problem? They are Kenyans. John Mbadi was given a job as a Kenyan, not as an ODMer. Joe was given a job as a Kenyan, not as an ODMer. We must agree even the appointments which were made. They were made that some of those people there who are serving in those ministries and the PSS positions, they qualify. They are given on merit. It's not out of good political will, maybe. They are given on merit, and these are Kenyans. Before he become a member of ODM party, before he become a leader of RGM, he is a Kenyan. Yes.
Right. Thank you, Jared.
He has gone twice.
Kidogo.
No,
We need to take
I
a
was
break,
preparing.
and then we will come back. And I have a question for you, Jared. May we take a break right now, Director? All right, let's take a break.